shall. Careful. I see them. I'll take care of this. No! Fall back.
That would be enough.
Damnation! That's it. Indeed.
Could be a fight.
Attack!
Right on target.
I'll take care of this. I'll have this. It's done. I'll handle this.
Well, at least it didn't catch us by surprise.
I'll take care of it. Well, isn't this brilliant? I'm here.
What do you see that I can't, Watcher? All of them? Really?
Watcher, we'd like to come with you. You have our thanks. We appreciate that you showed us the way to the Audra. But what if it goes dark before we reach the Beyond?
Can I harvest the souls now? Thank you for aiding my mission, Watcher. I just knew you'd help me if I followed you.
Thank you, Watcher.
You went into the ruins. Did you find survivors? In hiding, perhaps? It is not. But thank you for trying. I take it you are going back to Port Marge, yes? Governor Clario will want to hear of this. I am sorry that we cannot accompany you, but...
I shall go with them, Vanessa. After all, the jungle can be perilous, and the beasts that were here could not have gone far.
Ak, as you say, Engferth. Be careful, Ainiko.
I shall try. Thank you for your discretion. I'm certain you have many questions, but I fear they must wait until we're off this island. Indeed.
I'll careful. I see them. Not what I was intending. Yes. It's not working. Attack! Of course. I'll handle this.
me?
Let's see what we found. I'll take care of this. I'll handle this. What can I do for you? At last, Belfetto, tell me, please, what has happened? How much have we lost? I must know. I understand your impatience, but, Madiko, simply tell me, what of Odorisi? His research? Did you find his notes? You did? Gods be kind. Belfetto! Belfetto! We are saved! That is, Odorisi's legacy is not wholly lost. I like to believe the man would find that pleasing. You say this is all the work of the Titan, of Aothis, and you still insist on looking for him? He destroyed your ship, killed my people. Would it not make more sense to sail to the far side of the world and away from all this? No. That much has been made very plain to me. So be it. It would explain why the giant went for the dig site, rather than attack us in the town, wouldn't it? Merla. He will ravage every outpost in the Deadfire. That Adra is why we are here. Why everyone is here, in truth. The Valiant Trading Company, the Royal Deadfire Company, countless mercenaries. You'll want to go to Neketaka. Queen Onekaza II rules there at the Kahanga Palace. Anyone seeking to do business in the Deadfire Archipelago must negotiate with her first. The Queen knows every Adra vein of worth in the Deadfire. I'm certain she can help you. That is, if she agrees to see you at all. I have not forgotten. We will get you to Neketaka. And for that, you need your sheep. I'll arrange it with Ekawa. Between the two of us, I'm certain we can gather the workers we need. Head down to the beach once you are ready to depart. Bompiaco, it is only right. After all you have done for me. I won't keep you further. You have a long and very strange journey ahead. Some advice. After you have had your audience with the Queen, seek out the Valian Trading Company. They make their headquarters in Neketaka, and the company always appreciates good help.
Fresh fish!
Race you to the coral?
No contest.
What? Just because you have
Red Serens, adherents, that they're wooden. What?
A giant? Thomas mad.
Maybe. There are strange things out there.
You cannot think it is really one of the gods.
No, but a weapon perhaps.
Merla, I hope not.
Still kicking, eh? What'll it be? Mokeho? That'll be the Juana the poor fool got into a dust-up with, I expect. Yeah, I saw it. Made a real mess, they did. The two of them were having a game of cards, far as I could see. Guess things between them soured in a hurry. I kicked the Juana out, had a few men carry what was left of Rinko home. Could have been anything. Rinko doesn't know when to quit talking, and some of those Juana are real serious types. As far as I'm concerned, we owe the Storm Speaker for keeping the town in one piece. Don't mean I'd invite her people over for tea. Well, yeah. Think maybe Rinko wasn't expecting one of the Juana to know the game so well. He looked real nervous by the end. Well, no more than most. He's a hard man to like, let's say. Came here with the wife, an Animancer, one of Odorisi's lot. The governor could tell you more there. Sure. Just hope you don't mean to dredge anything up again. Leave the feuding for the Blue Bloods. Folks come by here all the time, Hunt.
Sientere.
Most days I'd fire up the kettle.
Kitty, kitty.
Amira's winds blow sweet upon you.
May Amira's winds blow sweet. I see. Governor Clario would call it superstition. I know you speak truth. Are there worse omens than to hear that the god of rebirth has brought death upon your people? I thank you for delivering this news. I will tell their families, and we will mourn them together. But you will journey on, into the god's wake. I wish you luck, outsider. There are enough Mataru here to defend the village. You are safe. Better than it may seem. Clario can be reasoned with, especially if one approaches him with coin in their pocket. He is not a cruel man. I suspect he might even enjoy life on the island if he were free of his masters. Mokeha could have killed him if she wished to. Is it not enough that he lives? If you wish something from Mokeha, my advice is to trade for it. Is that not how the outsiders get everything they need?
I do not know you. You were looking for Kawa? Rinko? The Valian? You jest, Akira. I should have thrown him into the sea. He dares to call me a thief? What else? The Valians are fools. But Akawa wishes to trade, so we must be patient. We must save them from Nagate's storms, even when they ignore our advice. Ikawa told me I should see the tavern, speak with their people, learn patience. The traitor Eophania, she taught me to play Valian cards. A simple game, but none would play with me in the tavern. Not until Rinko. I thought him kind until I proved the victor, and he grew angry. Until he stood in front of his kin and called me a Mataru of Sadahuzi, a filthy islander and a cheat. For that, yes, I beat him. Why does this concern you? I am no thief. Do you mean to insult me? I am Mataru. I am the guard in Sadahuzi. I defend this village. If I see fit to punish a man, it is my duty. That is not the same. This has long been our island. Truly? I did not expect this. In truth, I do not have much use for it. Perhaps Ikawa will use the coin. May Amira's winds blow sweet upon you, stranger.
may I help?
Good, you are here. Clario has made good on his promise. We are making ready to free your ship. I say still that you are fortunate. The ship was nearly lost, but it will float. For how long, I cannot say. You will wish to find a friendly port with some speed, I think. So you will go to the great Kahanga city as well. You must sail north for some time, and then a little east. Take care in Neketaka, outsider. It will close its jaws around you, and you will never notice. Come, we will see your defiant out to sea.
we should address the matter of our ship's resources before we get underway. It saddens me to inform you that we lost several crew and most of our provisions during the storm. However, Port Margé appears to be well supplied, and I expect the recent disaster has left several sailors in want of a ship. I suggest we contract for additional supplies and crew before we return to open water, or our voyage may indeed be a short one.
Ado, Wateracadno. On behalf of the Principes and Patrina, I must request we meet in parley. Agrassim. I will make this quick. I have heard some marvelous tales regarding your ventures in the Deerwood. In fact, you are the first dragon slayer I have ever met, outside of a grave. Some fools would seek to make a fortune by pilfering from one such as you.
I take it he is not one of those fools. Perhaps we should listen.
I believe you have met such a fool. Captain Benweth of the Drake. Voxen of Upilnet Merla. Careful, ship hunter. mind that you do not confuse a useful skill set for a non-expendable one. My apologies. Rest assured, it will not happen again.
Apologies, Captain. Didn't mean it, really. We're up all night, you know, searching out our friend here. You've been at sea a while. Your mind starts playing tricks on you, aye? Well, mine plays tricks on others, too. Usually don't mean much. Maybe see a bit of shadow, hear a bit of tune. Not less a person sensitive. Like, say, a watcher.
This is the first you are hearing of us, truly? We are a magnificent but largely landless people, so we have come to own the sea. To survive, we must seize prosperity where we can. Hence, we are oft labeled as pirates, smugglers, merchants of illicit trade, or mercenaries. It will not always be so, but it is for now. The short-sighted scoundrel has been wreaking havoc in the area for months. He is no son of Velia. I do not fault his ancestry, but he disregards too much the grand heritage we Principi represent. Benweth is the second most selfish captain within the Principi's newest generation. He risks all that we value. Perhaps I have said too much. This is a problem solely of my own, for now. Benweth is no captain of mine, Aimiko. It is not beneath my flag his Drake sails. Yet I do seek to temper his actions when they would endanger the Principe altogether. Benweth's Drake took damage during the storm. Eventually, he will need to dock for repairs, and when he does, Seraphin can find him for you. He is rather an unrefined creature, but he is a most skilled ship hunter, I assure you.
Unrefined? Begging your pardon, Captain, but I'd be the high fucking model of the Gentleman of Fortune. As for Benweth, that sucker of squid tits be as predictable as the tide. I'd wager all my furriest bits that he'd set sail for Deadlight.
That would be felicitous indeed, as I believe the traitor Remaro hides there as well. I quite enjoy killing two men with a single bullet.
Wouldn't have even thought of it if you hadn't brought it up, sir. Now, I ain't hardly in any hurry to leave the fine company of the Gentlemen of Leisure, but the captain be right about me finding your mark. Adding to that, you sail into Fort Deadlight not knowing your innies from your outies, you might very well find the locals cannon fucking your boat to sodden splinters.
What venture does not require an investment to be prosperous? The Seraphin is an allowance, which I expect you will return, in one payment or another.
Oh, you won't be regretting this, Watcher. At least so long as you keep us heavy in grog and light on the onions. Ugh, them dirty shit apples ain't never agreed with me, and I'll be suspecting they never will.
He's not sleeping near my berth, I promise you that much.
I sail now for Dunwich, my own safe port. I will await you there, should you be successful in schooling our wayward captain.
crew's getting antsy.
Maybe we cut them loose.
Still kicking, eh?
Leaving anytime soon.
What'll it be? Folks come by here all... Still kicking, eh? What'll it be? Folks...
You think it's smart, giving the Huan all these guns?
Why not?
Well, just...
ring of a bell comes to you on a cold wind. The ring comes again and again, until soon the air is full with the sound of 1,000,000 bells ringing all at once. You are alone. And then, you are not. An indistinct figure stands before you, flickering between forms like a fire-cast shadow. A fixed, taunting grin. Bottomless black eyes. A yawning chasm in the earth. The aspects of Berith, the Usher and the Pallid Knight, shift in and out of focus. And at their back, 4 indistinct shades hover. You feel an eternity stretch out behind each of them, reaching back to places so distant and yet so near you cannot comprehend their size. The shifting image of Berith settles on the aspect of the Pallid Knight.
Watcher.
Her voice is the discordant clangor of gongs struck out of time.
I tasked you to discover Aethys's intentions. Tell me what you have learned.
The Pallid Knight knits her brows.
He does not seek to return to the Beyond? Intriguing.
Her sickly pale skin pulls tight across the bones of her face, as if the shell of this aspect does not quite fit the impossible creature it contains. The figure nearest Berith dissolves and reforms in the image of a thin-lipped, ancient crone, whose face has felt the melting kiss of fire. The goddess Wodika strides forward.
Does Aethys frighten you, Berith? He should. Magran subdued Aethys's influence once before, and yet he returned.
From out of Wodika's shadow shuffles a hunched, bald man you recognize as the god Scan. His skin is mapped with swollen lash scars, and breath whistles through the ragged hole in his face where his nose once was. He does not speak, but stares up at Wodika with naked loathing plain on his ruined face. Wodika steeples her long, knob-jointed fingers.
We must annihilate Aethys now, before he makes a rash decision we cannot easily annul.
She casts a sly look at the Pallid Knight from the corners of her eyes.
A moon would do the job nicely.
Wodika stares at you down her long nose.
I would destroy it all in the blink of your wide eye if I believed it would benefit me. Empires can be rebuilt. Souls can be reforged. Do not forget it.
The figure beside the aspect of Berith flows forward in a swirling cloud of ash. The ash falls to the tiles and reveals a molten-skinned woman, leaning on a monstrous, wicked-edged broadsword. Magran's glowing lips curl in disdain.
We must find a solution to the problem of Aethys that is neither do nothing, nor destroy the world. I acted in haste during the Saints' War. You will not goad me into doing the same now. To move against him while his plans are unknown would be the height of foolishness. We must find wisdom in precaution.
The Pallid Knight tilts her head to the side and gives you the long-suffering, narrow-eyed look of a parent dealing with a particularly disappointing child.
No.
Another of the silent figures steps forward, and the warm, golden light of a summer's afternoon spills across your face.
Let's all take a deep, calming breath. Perhaps cooler heads will prevail.
Behind Helia's words, you hear the soft coo of doves.
Aethys has been separated from us for too long. Isn't it possible he intends only to gather enough souls to reclaim his realm in the Beyond? He should be welcomed.
You look up then into avian eyes, Through them, you see clouds of starlings converge and divide. Helia puts a feathered hand to her chest.
He wouldn't. Betrayal is not in his nature.
Scan shuffles forward.
Yes, yes. We should welcome Aethys's return to the fold. His gratitude we can leverage to cajole him into divulging his plot. Then, when he believes himself to be in our good graces, we do as Wedeka suggests, and crush him into the earth.
Scan pauses, inspecting you.
Ah, and here is the Watcher who wiped dear desperate Ali's mind. You could have let my followers help her kill the man who tormented her. But you did not. Curious.
Scan licks the ragged edge of his lipless mouth and grins, then turns to Helia.
I did not expect such a deliciously ruthless idea from you, Helia. I am impressed.
Helia's feathered crest stands on end.
You wretched little creature.
Your point is well made, little Watcher. If self-evident, Aethys has not been known to possess a vindictive nature. Indeed, he has occasionally been magnanimous to a fault. However, if we push him to the brink of reason, there is no telling what he may do. He is, as ever, unpredictable.
Something akin to fondness creeps into her voice. The Pallid Knight gestures for silence.
Aethys cannot be killed, but he may be subdued. Yet to do so will take immense power and time. Both stand in his favor.
Magrin grits her black glass teeth.
That is why we must ascertain his plans before he has the chance to put them into motion.
She begins to pace. Her steps leave little trails of fire in her wake. Magrin stops and balls her hands into flaming fists.
Even if we manage to destroy his current form, there is the possibility he could return, if he has not already absorbed all of his children.
The Pallid Knight casts a cold, cutting glare in Magrin's direction.
Magrin speaks too freely. That knowledge is beyond your ken, Watcher.
Wodeka waves the gods to silence.
Aethys gathers strength. His strength is a threat to us.
Her voice takes on a sharp, almost panicked edge.
There is no sensible answer to the question of a resurgent Aethys, other than decisive, final action.
Your opinion is unasked for, but noted.
The Pallid.
We will act when it is appropriate to do so, and not before.
The Pallid Knight steps away from the half-circle of assembled gods. She pulls herself up to a great height. The words she speaks next come not from her mouth, but from all around you.
Follow him, Watcher.
The black of the Pallid Knight's irises expand until her eyes are as dark and cold as the void between stars. She bends down and brings her ghostly face level with your own.
Your debt to me remains unpaid.
She stares at you, unblinking. Like a needle drawn to a magnet, you are pulled toward her one compulsory step at a time. You blink open your eyes and find yourself on the floor of your ship's cabin, alone.
I'll take you.
How may I be of service, my lord? I was the steward of your keep at Cad Nua, my lord. Long before your time, I had my soul bound to a throne of Ardraban. And for nearly 200 years, I felt Cadnua and the comings and goings within it like an extension of myself. It is a strange connection to lose. Still, it would be unseemly for me to complain of loss to you, my lord. With Cadnua in ruins, there was little purpose in waxing sentimental over the rubble. I was able to salvage enough of your treasure and wealth to afford the purchase of the Defiant and the hire of a small crew. Unfortunately, that consumed the remainder of your once considerable assets. Under the circumstances, I hoped you would not object.
Shiplife sure is an adventure, ain't it? Just think of all the places we can sail to, all the sights we could see. This is nothing like being stuck on a farm, or cloistered in the back of a temple. Tell me what's on your mind? They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul. Will we? Ought we? I just don't know. I trust you, Watcher. I swear I do. I worry sometimes about what's gonna happen to me. But, well, it's not like I can turn my back on my duty to my god, even if it kills me. Sure thing, Watcher.
Hey, Vela. I put on my boots the other day to find out they were full of crabs and seawater. You wouldn't know anything about that?
No, but I'll keep my eyes out. I hear some of the crew whispering bad things about you.
Atta girl. Divert suspicion, give him a new scapegoat. Rehearse your story so you can say it without hesitating. I knew we were right to steal you from your home as a baby.
You stood with me through more than anyone I've ever known. But a lot has happened over the last 5 years. After we parted, I set out to destroy the Leaden Key. It's controlled us for too long. I wanted to free Kith from it. So for 5 years, I've been tracking down Leaden Key circles, searching for the places where they operate in secret, trying to undo them. The task has been more difficult than I anticipated. I don't think I fully understood the weight of the decisions I would have to make, or the burden of living with them. It was much easier when I only had to follow someone else's lead. My father's, Theos's, yours. I wish I knew. After we defeated Theos, I thought the hard part of undoing his work would be tracking down the Leaden Key's members and operations. Perhaps this would be easier with an example. I went to a village in Old Valia, a run-down backwater of a place. Aye, right home like it was. Centuries ago, the Leaden Key had intervened to end some heretical cult. The details were lost, but what had endured was a practice of ritual bloodletting. A gruesome, pointless tradition. At every full moon, the villagers would feed the soil with their blood. No one, young or old, sick or hale, was exempt. That's where it gets complicated. The village priest administered the practice. Grim old fellow. Reminded me of Theos.
Wicked old bunbag, 'tis what the lad means.
He was a tyrant. I was certain that if the villagers were free of his influence, they'd be free from the bloodletting too. So I arranged for him to have an accident. the old man died, and the villagers were terrified. They were convinced his death was an ill omen. They blamed it, and every other mishap that befell them, on their lack of faith. So they began bloodletting every week, turning on their neighbors for giving too little. Instead of a handful dying each year, a few perished every week. Is it? In the end, the villagers suffered more because of my actions. I keep wondering what I might have done differently, or how I could have known better. I suppose so. I should get some rest. It's been a long day, and you've given me a lot to think about. Ah, that. I'm looking for an old Leaden Key sect. I found several references, but I want to be sure. Please, let me go over my notes again. Then I promise I'll tell you everything.
Hey, this brings back some memories, huh? I want the destruction to stop. I want him to finish what he's doing and then go in peace. Only I don't see it playing out that way. If you like. I like that feeling, knowing we'd stop Theos. We were part of something big. That was something I never felt before, not even at war. Guess I went looking for it again. Not that I wanted to tangle with gods, but something smaller. Something I thought I could manage. I looked all around the Deerwood, but that place has too many ghosts for me. Things I'd just as soon forget. Ended up moving to Adir and tracking down my parents. They went there as refugees after the war ended. In part, I guess. Adir, they still got some bad blood with Deerwood. Goes back to the Revolution. Some Adirans like to give Deerwoodans a hard time they get the chance. With my folks, a group came along and tried to take their land. Made a phony claim to it. I sat down with them and we had a friendly negotiation. One fella, I don't think he'll ever be able to look to his right again. But we came to an understanding. My folks, well, they didn't see me the same after that. I think they'd have rather given up the land than have it come to violence. I don't know if that was something we could have avoided, or if it was the cost of trying to fix things. If you like. The air's different. Especially compared to Gilded Vale, where there's more livestock than shovels. Sounds different, too. You wake up to all those bird calls, it really does sound like they're making music. If the birds woke you in Gilded Vale, it was usually a couple crows making the most horrible mating noises you ever heard. Strange thing is, I still get this feeling in me like I wish I was home.
Ahoy, Captain. Truth be told, Ferrante half expect us to get our asses blown out of the water at Fort Deadlight. Fortunately for you, I have this bad habit of beating the odds. Of course, I do that by way of good old traditional chicanery. And the most important part of any hornswoggle? Solid planning. Well, that and surviving. Vailian made originally. Piled them stones up a few centuries back, but gave it up when the fishmen wouldn't leave them be. Hard to defend against Wilder crawling up out of your crappers. Captain Aldiz claimed it a few years back. Fucking filthy from bow to stern, and she had her lads and lasses cleaning fish shit out of the floorboards for months. A couple of them thought it might be better sailing elsewhere and left in the night. Aldiz tracked them down quick as you like, took their heads, and fixed them into little lanterns for the front gate. Called them Fort Deadlight's Deadlights. They say she ain't had a deserter since. Tad cruel for my taste, but I admit to admiring the wordplay. Funny thing about it being a fort means it ain't a boat. Means it don't have to worry about the weight of cannons are storing honking big balls. Guns they got crowning that castle put a hole in your poop deck before you've sighted land. Fort itself be floor-to-ceiling rum-sodden fools, so that be going for us. But Aldi's keeps the crew on the walls sharp and sober. One blast of their horns and Deadlight's locked up tight as an endearing Mugranite. We'll stay that way too, till any unfamiliar ships have been shot to shit and shot again. She's sharp as shit, that one. Tongue, mind, and ears alike. Sailed out of Deerwood or Adir one. Knows her knots and how to crew a ship that won't turn sour. But words ring out among the Principe, more than you'd think for new blood. Part of that's a fierce support of freedom, from slavers, from the empires, from the Juana's caste system even. The rest a lenient hand. Step out of line and Ferrante's got your old crew up for lashes. Aldice, though, she's, let's say there's a reason she attracts limp-cocked nut-twists like Benwith. Can't say I much approve of a lack of regard for our traditions, but, can't say I don't share her vexations with Ferrante and the old garden either. Shit, Captain. Buy a lad a drink before you go rooting through his unmentionables. Let's leave it enough for now to say I think there be a course to be charted betwixt anarchy and tyranny. Oh, I did say contacts, didn't I? Contacts would be more accurate, in the singular. A lass by the name of Ciri. Been running the same circles for years, doldrums and fair winds. We're never family, but never on the wrong ends of arms, neither. Might have, shaken the sheets a few months back. Regardless of how she feels about me, there's no love lost betwixt her and Benwith, that's for damn certain. Ugh, random? What do you take me for, Captain? Oh, mighty kind of you, Captain, given how useful I look. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack, but if not cracking, what are nuts for? Smart play for crashing any party involves scavenging yourself up an invite, and then dressing to impress. Aye, Captain, from stem to stern. Looking the part in this case means hoisting colours identifying us as Principe. Don't have to tell you how dangerous such a bit of fabric can be if the wrong person catches you flying it. Swapping cannonballs with my fellow Principe ain't my favourite idea you've ever had. But do what you have to do, Captain. Might be tricky to not damage the flag in battle, but sink the ship on accident. Deadlight's a tough coconut to crack, but if not cracking, what are nuts for? Might be there's a way to sneak inside. Bet we can find a shady spot to tie up a skiff under the veil of night. Then up the walls and over, quick as you please. Sussing out a place to land without being spotted ourselves require Helia's own eyes. Or a spyglass. You've got a spyglass, I hope. Well, then let me recommend you remedy yourself there, Captain. A good spyglass be like a good lover. Shows you the bits you'd have missed otherwise. Yeah, sure, used to. Then I made the mistake of lending it to Ferrante. Apparently forgot it weren't his. Showed him the S I carved into it and he turned around and told me it stood for spyglass. There's an important lesson to be learned there. You take something to see, you hold grip on it real tight. Later, sure. No hurry here to ship off back to the Gentlemen of Leisure.